So did anybody keep chickens or anything like that in the
Well,
yard?
my dad did on my grandma's garden. Because, I mean, in the yard you couldn't keep anything, could you?
No.
But my
Nowhere
dad,
to keep 'em.
a few doors down, my dad had a pig in my grandma's garden and chickens. And also my grandma kept bees. She had beehives.
Right.
So when we were kids, we'd always got honey. I always remember going to the food office with her, which was up on the crossroads in North Street. The first building was the food office.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, that's right.
We used to go there for the sugar. You had to have a permit for the sugar. So she'd give the bees half and made jam with the other half. So we'd always got jam and honey.
Yeah.
My grandma's upstairs smelled absolutely delicious with the honey, because we used to have the honeycombs, and then she'd store her apples up there. Oh.
So
that
hers was one of the
day.
houses that eventually got knocked down.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what happened? Did you stay in the yard until it was demolished?
No.
Or had you already
No.
moved out?
My mum worked at Denham and Hargraves, the hat factory, which was owned by Gerald Austin. And they bought a big house down the Sheepy Road called, now what was it called? Lister Lodge. And they asked my mum if she would be the cleaner. But this was after the war.
Mm.
If she'd be the cleaner, and we moved into the cottage that was owned by Lister Lodge.
Right.
By the football field, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the houses were still standing in the yard at that time?
At
Yes.
that time when we moved, yes.
Yeah.
And when we moved out of Valen's-Row, I think I'd be about 11. Down senior school, just started down
Yeah.
senior school. And we moved to Priory Walk in Manchester. And that's where...
So how long after that were they demolished?
Oh, quite a bit, because I know somebody else moved in.
Yeah.
Somebody else moved in our house. Because we went through, me and my mum walked through one day, she just wanted to see it, you know. And the lady was there and she asked her in. And we went and looked in and they'd altered them a little bit, you know.
Still no electric?
Oh yeah, they got
they
electric.
put the electric
Yeah,
in?
they
Yeah,
put the
I think they
electric
put
on.
elect now. Also, just before we moved, actually, they put the electric in. We didn't have it when the wall was on.
Mind you, Fred Hogg had got, in the front of our house, he'd got electric for repairing the radios and everything. But he didn't get it straight away, because then the radios were valves.
Mm.
I've still got a valve radio that works.
Yeah.
Oh, and I remember as well, when you come out the yard at the front on Long Street, there used to be the hat factory, then there used to be Mr. Garrett, he used to mend shoes.
He hadn't got any legs, had he?
No, and then next to
That's the
that,
other side of the road?
yeah,
Yeah.
and then next to that, to where he was, there was the barber shop. And I can remember Mrs. Smith used to ask me to go, and, you know, the batteries, what you used to put in the wirelesses,
Yeah.
you used to have to go and take them to that wall. There was a little wallpaper shop, wasn't
Moss's.
there? Moss's, that's right. Next to Oggs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to go and take it in there to be recharged.
And then there was Tingy's bike shop next to that.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Then another entry, and then the pub, Coach
Yeah.
and Horses.
Yeah,
And then across the road, after the barbers, there was
Yeah.
a chapel, weren't there?
yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, there was a chapel.
Then the bank,
Yeah,
then the road up to the crossroads,
police
the police station,
station.
the picture room,
yeah,
Liberal Club. Oh no, Jenkins's cake shop.
yeah.
The Liberal Club.
Post office.
Yeah, but before the post office, it was the council offices.
Oh right, yeah.
Did Grubb's Yard have its own entrance, or did it
Yes.
share? It had its...
It had its own entrance.
And I can remember, because they used to ask me to do errands in the yard. I was always the one they used to send to go and get some potatoes or bread or whatever. They always used to ask for me to go, and they used to give me a penny, halfpenny, whatever, and or some few sweets. And Mrs Smith asked me one day to go get her something, and as they were going, there was this old tramp by Mr Garrett's shoe shop, and he shouted me over, and I went to him, and he says, would you, it was ever such a dirty old tramp, and he says to me, would you get me a loaf? And he gave me the money, and I went and got him a loaf and took it back and gave him the loaf, and that was it. But I often wonder what my mum would have said if I'd have told her I'd have gone and got a loaf for this old tramp.
To where he got the money from?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went and got him a loaf.
Did you go in any other yards when you were youngsters?
Did we what?
Go in any other people's
Oh,
yards?
yeah.
Oh yeah,
We went all over the place.
We were friends, didn't we?
Yeah.
So what kind of differences did you see between the yards? Were there some a bit posher and nicer?
Not really.
Some were a bit better, weren't
Well, the people after Kath to the whole at the end of the
they?
yard,
Were older people.
they were always cleaning, weren't they?
Yeah.
They
They
even
were
scrubbed
old people.
the yard, didn't
Yeah.
they, outside
Yeah.
their
I
houses?
used to scrub. My mum used to give me a bucket and a scrubbing brush. I'd only be about 5, and I used to love it. And it used to be those red tiles. It used to be the red tiles, and then she used to have a piece of lino then up to the hearth, and then used to sit.
Pegging rugs.
Yeah, I used to sit having to cut them out at night time. My little fingers used to be so sore cutting the old coats up and that. And I used to peg a
them on-
rug with her.
Did you use
Hessian.
sacking for that?
Yeah,
Hessian,
old
yeah.
Hessian.
And Mrs Finch, up the top of the yard, she always had a Hessian sack round her waist, done up with a massive safety pin. The safety pin was like that, didn't she?
Yeah.
You never ever saw her in that yard without this Hessian cloth sack.
And I used to scrub the floor, and I used to like doing it because I used to make patterns with a scrubbing brush, and that was, but I was playing, but I was cleaning the floor for my mum as well. But I used to like it when they used to come by and they used to say to me, Mum, oh, little Kathy's scrubbing again for you. She is a good girl. You are a good girl.
So you actually had a sink in a scullery bit
Yeah.
off your living
Yeah.
room?
We did.
Some of the
Mind you, ours was in the living room. We'd got a bay window, and our sink was in the bay window.
You still had to fill it from the tap?
No, we'd got a
Oh,
tap
no,
inside.
you've got a tap inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we had a tap inside the
Yeah.
sink.
But if you wanted to fill like the coppers, you had to use the communal tap, didn't you?
It was outside the wash
Yeah.
house. Yeah, you used to have to go and get your buckets and fill your coppers.
Right.
And then I can remember my grandma, she used to live up Stafford Street, and she used to have one of these big mangles where you used to have a big wooden, and I used to hold the sheet as she used to put, and I used to pull it, and then she'd take it back. Well, this particular day, she took it back a bit too quick and took my finger.
We go again.
There's the scar there, look. And she had to go and get Mr. Chalice next door to get the poker to prise it open to pull
Get
my
your
finger
finger
out. And I've still got the scar to today. Look. So that was my experience of the mangle.
Oh, when me and my brother.
And then you used to have a dolly, and you used to have a tin tub, and you used to dolly the.
I've still
down.
got a dolly in my
Oh,
porch,
You used to go up and down with a dolly for my mum.
but my tin tub's gone rotten. But I've still got my dolly.
Oh, yeah.
It's been in every school in Tamworth, alright. Yeah.
So how many brothers and sisters did you have?
I had my brother who still lives in Atherstone, and then my sister died. If she'd have lived 2 more weeks, she'd have been 1.
Oh.
She had meningitis. But if she'd have lived, she'd have been blind. So we just had the 2.
So where does your brother live now, in Atherstone?
Minions Close,
Oh yeah.
not far from the gasworks where my dad used to work.
Oh yeah, and we used to go along the canal. We used to have all
Yeah.
the barges.
Yeah.
Did you take part in the ball game and things?
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Blimey,
We used
yeah.
to have strict orders off my mum when I come out of school.
You do
Straight
not go
home.
down that
You
ball
do not
game.
go down the ball game. Where did we go? Down the ball game.
And when we were questioned, where have you been? Up the outwoods. Or, ooh, down under the cattle arch.
Oh yeah.
That was a walk, weren't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard the ball went down there.
Oh, it's
It
been
went through
everywhere,
well,
believe you
up
me.
by the river,
One
somebody's
year,
house, it went through their house. They all went through their house.
one year, they tried to get in my grandma's entry, but she got a bull mastiff. Now she blocked it and bolted it. The door at the bottom of the entry. Of course, they flattened that. And then they looked up the yard and there was Monty standing on the gate, this massive bull mastiff. And the one chap went, back. No way, lads. So they went out my grandma's entry and they bunted one another over the Conservative Club gate, which was 10 foot high. And then the Conservative headquarters was there. So they went up the steps and punched a hole in the glass door to get in there with the ball. But the stupid boy that pushed his fist through cut his jugular. Oh my God, it was just spurting. Oh, you could follow him where he'd walked.
The blood trees.
Yeah.
Was he all right after?
Well, they took him to the hospital. I think somebody picked... They couldn't wait for the ambulance. My grandma gave them a tea towel to tie round it. And somebody went and fetched a van and took him in a van. But I think he must have been all right after, but he was very, very lucky.
And I remember my first day at school.
What school did you go to?
The infant school in Atherstone. They called it the infant school then. I don't know if it's still called the infant school.
No, it's...
Because wasn't there a south and a north?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was Essens, weren't it? We did...
Oh, Daddy Essens. Oh no, we didn't go to Daddy Essens.
No.
And I can remember walking into school and I can remember the girl who come up to me and she made friends with me. And we used to be friends for a long time. Blanche Prince. Can you remember Blanche Prince? And then Florence Cadman.
Yeah.
Remember Florence Cadman? Maureen Bonner.
So there was this
Margaret-
rivalry between the north and the south.
No, we
No.
weren't
No, we
nowhere
never
near.
bothered.
No.
Well, what if there were? We weren't in it, were we?
The only rivalry we had at school was with the grammar school kids.
Mm.
Oh, didn't we have fun? You'd walk up behind some of the grammar school and they'd be there with the hats on and the blazers. And you'd just walk up behind them, take the hat.
Oh, do you remember Mr. Street?
Oh, yes.
Dr. Street.
Dr. Street.
Down big school.
Yeah. Whack a guy.
Oh, do you remember Connie Barnsley when we were kids?
Oh, God, yeah.
I didn't know till after, years after, she was a relation to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
My mum's relation to my daddy's relation to the Barnsleys somewhere along the line, and Connie Barnsley was relation, and so was, there was another teacher. She used to teach at the infant school, and she was a cousin as well. She was my dad's cousin.
So did you get the
Yeah.
slipper or the cane or?
I had a cane.
Oh.
I
They
think she's
didn't hit
more-
us with the ruler flat. You had it side on. Didn't you?
Yeah, but not when the war was on. I didn't have the cane. I had it when I was down the big school, and why I got it was, and I was quite innocent. I was quite innocent, honestly. If you left carry bags lying around in the cloakroom, you got into trouble. Well, somebody found a washing man's ready to go home, and somebody must have found a carrier bag, and they said it was mine. Oh, it's Kathleen Lucas's. It wasn't mine because I didn't have a carrier bag. Never took a carrier bag to school. I had a cloth bag. And Mrs Moore come in and... Phyllis Moore, that's right. And she says, Kathleen Lucas, into my classroom this minute. So I went in. I wondered what I'd done. And she says, this is yours, you've left it on the floor. I said, please miss, don't argue with me. You're right, I must do as I am told or something. And I had to do 50 lines, I must do as I was told. And I was innocent. And I don't know who said it was my carrier bag, but it honestly wasn't.